Hello, it's Sonia. So today I'm just going to take you through a mat workout that I would do if my back is hurting because I have not been aligned up or straight or really paid attention to my body. So I would like if you could have a ball. You will be fine if you don't have a ball, and it can just be any ball. It's just something that you can kind of push in and release on. So I'm just going to keep this out of the way for now. And then you're just going to come and lie on your back. So what I want you to kind of do is kind of just rock side to side, because you kind of need to explore with what's even in your body and what's uneven, because what's uneven is probably what might be causing your back to be a little uncomfortable. So I'm kind of pulling one knee up and pulling one knee down because I'm trying to re-level my pelvis by doing this. So if I twist this way, dropping the right knee down, my left knee goes this way, right knee that way, and then twist and reach. I guess technically it is just a twist. My feet are maybe hip distance, maybe a little wider than hip distance, and I'm just rocking side to side. But as I'm doing this, what I can actually feel are my SI joints here in the back. So it's where those two dimples are. Yeah, it's near where those two dimples are. It's where the spine and the pelvis meet, and the spine tends to go one way and the pelvis goes the other, and sometimes we get pressure there, and that's where we feel. So as I'm kind of exploring, I'm trying to see how much I can feel each SI and what I need to do. So I need to kind of tilt back to be able to feel them, but I feel one side more than the other. And then I'm also going to try to be more neutral, or maybe try to arch my back here, so I could put my hand underneath. You can see my hand poking out. Just to kind of explore maybe more of the bottom of your sacrum towards your tailbone a little bit more, and that's off. So you want to just keep rocking around, try to see if you can start to settle it down a little bit more and where you need to be in order to feel the left side and the right side the same. Do you need to tilt back? Do you need to arch a little bit? You can also have your hands on your pelvis and have your fingertips towards your pubic bone, or actually on your pubic bone, and then your hands, the heel of your hands on the hip bones, and you're trying to make them level. So it even helps sometimes to look. Even sometimes it can be hard to feel. You can maybe also feel for the bony protrusions on each front of the hip and just make sure that's level. So you can either have front feedback or back feedback. You should not have your back just smushed into the mat. You do want a natural curve in your back if that's what you have standing up. But I also want you to check in with your ribs and just let them drop down towards the hip, just so then these muscles here are engaged. So if you feel an arch, if it's up below the ribs, you need to pull here. If it's down around the belly button, it's going to be pelvis alignment. So again, don't just smush your lower back into the mat. So now that you're here, I just want you to have your feet hip distance parallel and just kind of push down into them. So I'm using my butt a little bit, maybe like a baby bridge. I'm not really lifting, but I'm just trying to engage everything enough that I just feel it. Maybe 5% intensity, nothing too intense. My head has a slight tuck. My chin has a slight tuck. My arms are down on the mat. And for right now, I actually kind of like my palms facing in. Sometimes palms down, but I just feel like I could even turn my palms up to rotate out my shoulders. Just take a couple breaths here. You can even close your eyes and go inside to see how it feels. Because this is what I want you to try to keep throughout this whole video. And actually throughout Pilates in the day even is kind of how you master Pilates, is mastering neutral in everything that you do. So I'm trying to be aware of where I'm breathing into. I'm trying not to breathe into my shoulders. I'm trying to breathe sideways into my ribs. As I take a breath, I'm being aware of how much my shoulders are rising, and I'm trying to take the movement out of my shoulders rising up, and I'm trying to redirect it down and out more through my rib cage, because that's where the diaphragm is. The diaphragm is the muscle that helps the lungs breathe. And I'm trying to reprogram my body and tell what muscles I want to work right now to turn on. All right, so then what I want you to think of doing is dropping the tailbone down and letting your back arch. Yep, so I could have a space in my lower back in the mat, and now I'm going to do the opposite of tilting the pelvis back and letting my pubic bone and tailbone lift up a little bit. Now the point's not to do a very big range. I want you to be intentional with how much you use your abdominals to get this range. So inhale, you're going to tailbone out and let the back arch a little bit. And then exhale, you're going to tilt the pelvis back and try to engage rib to hip here. And then inhale, just feel the length of the hips and the ribs moving away. And then exhale and drop the ribs down and bring them towards the hips. Let's do one more. And then exhale. And then I want you to go to neutral, where you're not at either extreme. You're not very arched, you're not very tilted back. So you're going to inhale here. And now exhale, I want you to think of tightening the right side and try to drop that right side towards the mat. The left side might lift a little bit. I'm going to inhale to release, bring both to balance. And now exhale, contract the left side and drop the left hip down towards the mat. And then inhale. Exhale the right side. So I'm just being intentional with my movement. I'm trying just to alternate which side is tensing as I maybe guide a little bit of letting the movement happen and then the muscle contraction. Exhale as you side twist, and then inhale to release. And then exhale to side twist the other way. Good. And then let's do one more each side. And then one more time here. All right, so I'm coming back to balance. I'm checking in with my neutral again. I might need to rock side to side lightly to feel how my back and my pelvis lie on the mat. I might need to put my hands here. I might need to lift my head and look down a little bit. Sometimes you just need the external feedback. So let's do tiny marches now. Hands are down by the hips on the mat. You're going to inhale. Keep the abs tight as you lift one leg off the floor. Now less is going to be more in this exercise, and I don't want your hips to move. So the less your hips rock as you lift the other leg, the better that you'll do. So you might have to have your hands on the mat just to kind of feel around for how much movement there is. Because it is possible to keep the hips still, you just have to retrain them and be aware. Let's do one more each side. And one more here. So now I want you to bring your hands behind your head. Definitely support the head. And then I want you to come and curl up here. So I'm not leading with my head's back, but I am curling up and bringing my ribs down to meet my hips. And then I want you to continue doing these tiny marches. Exhale when you lift the leg, inhale down, and then exhale the other side. So on the inhale, I try to release my abdominals a little bit, and then on the exhale, I try to recontract and get deeper to stabilize. So inhale, exhale, stabilize, breath, and then lift. Let's do one more each side. My upper body's definitely holding my head. I feel my lats, and then my abdominals are supporting the whole upper body. So now what I want you to do is just hold it here. You're going to inhale. Keep that tailbone down as opposed to letting it curl up. And you're just going to do a little twist here. And then inhale, center, and exhale. So I'm trying to stay off both shoulder blades as I rotate side to side. Trying not to let my hips move. Trying not to let my knees or hips rock around. Let's do one more each side. And then one more time here. And then let's come back to the center and then slowly come back down. So now let's grab our ball, and you're going to come put the ball down in your inner thighs as low as you can down towards the groin, because I want the emphasis or the origin of the push to come from lower down. If it was up here, I feel like sometimes people push with their knees too much. So I'm holding the ball between my inner thighs as low as I can, and then my feet are just distance apart according to how big the ball is. My arms are going to be down by my hips, so checking in. Ribs down, my pelvis is neutral, shoulders down, lats slightly engaged. I'm going to inhale. And I'm going to take a breath and release everything. Release the pelvic floor, release the abdominals, release the inner thighs, but not enough to lose the ball. And now exhale, I'm first contracting my pelvic floor, and then abdominals, and then inner thighs, and I'm thinking of pushing my sit bones in towards each other, and then inhale to gently release. And then exhale, contract from the sit bones of those abdominals to push in on the ball. And then inhale to release. And then exhale. And then inhale. And let's do one more. So it's abdominals with leg movement. So the next time I want you to come push in, and then you're going to release one side a little bit, inhale, and then exhale, that one side pushes in, and then the other side releases, and then that side pushes in. So I'm trying to do this without my hips moving around, without the pelvis rocking side to side, without my tailbone lifting, and without my ribs disengaging and popping up. My abdominals are engaged here. Let's do one more each side. Good. So you're going to inhale and you're just going to hold and let the inner thighs release this ball. So if you didn't have a ball, you could have just done that with your legs together. But let's do some bridges now. So walk your heels in towards your butt, have your feet and knees together. And I want a neutral spine, so straight spine. And what I want you to do is inhale. Push your arms down into the mat as you come lift your hips up to the ceiling on the exhale, and then come bring your hips back down. And then exhale, lift the hips up. And then inhale, bring the hips down. And then exhale. Yep, so you're trying to come up, heels together, actually ankles together and knees together. And this should be a whole bunch of butt. And let's do one more time here. You're going to come down. Now you're going to turn out, but keep the heels together. Keep your big toe knuckle down, arms down, knees open. Exhale, lift the hips up here. And then inhale down. And then exhale. Inhale down. And exhale. Now you're going to come down. You're going to put your heels further out and your toes slightly turning in. My knees touch again. And then exhale, lift my hips up, keep my knees together, and then inhale, come down. And then exhale up. Inhale. And exhale. Yep. And do one more here. All right, so now I'm going to come down. I'm now just going to go back to parallel and hip distance with my feet. And then exhale, lifting the hips up, doing a bridge, and then inhale down. I am trying to keep my ribs down as I lift my hips up. So I lift from my glutes. I'm trying to keep my knees in hip distance so the knees don't wander out. Let's do two more. And then one more time here. So let's come down and then come hug your knees into your chest here. So you can either think of pulling your knees down into the floor, pulling the hips back in the socket, and just kind of rock around here a little bit. So it's more circling down by the tailbone. Or you could pull your knees into your chest, and as you circle around, you let your back arch and circle around the SI, and then you pull your knees in and kind of put pressure on that lower back. So more pressure on the pelvis, and then more pressure on the lower back. Let's do one more circle this direction. And now switch and go the other, so the arms straighten. My legs are really just relaxed into my hands. And then circle around, arching, and then pulling it in. And one more time here. All right. Oh, thanks.